Okay, guys. It's now 10 a.m. Okay. We will start our event at 5 minutes. We will wait for any participant to join our events. So we have 3 minutes more to wait our friend. dengan lafaz Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum and good morning everyone. The Honorable Dr. Amir Hamzah Sharai, Lecturer of University Putra Malaysia, Faculty of Forestry and Environment, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. First of all, it is my pleasure to be NMC for the conference Environmental Labelling and Declaration. My name is Abdul Rafi bin Mazad from Group 3. I would like to extend very warm welcome to all of you. We appreciate you taking time off your busy schedules to join us today. We hope you will learn a lot today. Soft reminder for all of you, please mute the microphone if not needed to avoid any disturbance. To begin the opening ceremony with the blessings, I would like to invite Mr. Masrizan Muridan to lead the Doa recitation and a moment of silence.
Al-Fatihah. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Alhamdulillahirabbil alamin. Assalatu wassalamu ala asyrafil anbiya'i wal mursalin wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ajma'in. Ya Allah, ya Rahman, ya Rahim. Sesungguhnya kami berhimpun pada hari ini bagi melahirkan rasa kesyukuran di atas kurniaan-Mu yang tidak ternilai. Jadikanlah kami hamba-hamba-Mu yang sentiasa bersyukur di atas nikmat yang melimpah ruah kepada kami. Ya Fattah, ya Alim. Sesungguhnya Engkau Maha mengetahui bahawa kami di sini ingin menimba ilmu-Mu yang sangat luas bagi mengembangkan potensi kami sebagai hamba-Mu yang Engkau redai. Justeru, berkati dan rahmatilah eConference pelabelan dan deklarasi alam sekitar pada hari ini, Ya Allah. Kurniakanlah kepada kami apa kiranya ilmu-Mu. Sinarilah hati kami dengan cahaya dan hidayah-Mu. Semoga dengannya kami mudah menerima dan menghayati serta mengamalkannya. Ya Zal Jalali wal Ikram. Kurniakanlah apa kiranya kepada kami kesihatan anggota, kecergasan minda, ketenangan jiwa, kekuatan semangat. Semoga dengannya kami mampu menepani cabaran, berdaya saing dan mampu mengangkat martabat diri, keluarga, organisasi, masyarakat dan negara kami. Rabbana atina fid dunya hasanah wa fil akhirati hasanah wa qina azabannar. Wa sallallahu ala sayyidina Muhammad wa ala alihi wa sahbihi wa sallam. Walhamdulillahirabbil alamin.
Amin ya Rabbal Alamin. Thank you Mr. Masrizan. Excellencies, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. For your information, today we have about more than 50 participants joining this conference. All participants come together here to know about environmental labeling and declaration. It's now time for us to share the video about environmental labeling and declaration. This video talk about environmental labeling and declaration.
Welcome to the first video of environmental labeling and declaration. The topics that will be covered in this video include the history of environmental labeling, what is environmental labeling and declaration, a touch on environmental management framework, environmental labeling based on types of ISO 14020, who is benefiting from the ISO for environmental labels, and last but not least, the functions of environmental labeling. Without further ado, let's dive into the history of environmental labeling and how it came to be. It all started in 1978 when the environmental label was created on the initiative of the German Federal Minister of the Interior and approved by the Ministers of the Environment for the German federal states. Since then, the environmental label created, called the Blue Angel, has been a market-based, voluntary instrument of environmental policy and has set high standards for environmentally friendly product design. In late 1980s, the environmental labeling evolved to satisfy the demands of customers in the purchase of green products. Multitude of labels, brands, and any other symbols or claims that could be used to highlight the environmental quality of a product flourished following the establishment of the Blue Angel. Moving towards the year 1992, on 23rd of February, the EU Ecolabelling regulation was released under the Council Regulation EEC number 880/2 on the Community Ecolabel Award Scheme. It was an award given to a product or service by fulfilling several criteria, including a low or minimal environmental impact from the production processes and procedures. The regulation, which established a voluntary eco-label scheme intended to promote the design, production, marketing, and use of products with reduced environmental impact during their entire life cycle. The scheme aims to provide consumers with better information on the environmental impacts of the products. It is a self-financing scheme except for food, drink, and pharmaceutical products, which are excluded from the list of product category. Furthermore, an eco-label will only be awarded to the products that meet the criteria stated, as well as meeting a defined minimum standard of fitness for its purpose. And for each product category, the criteria stated are set on the basis of an agreed life cycle assessment procedure. Now, after diving into its history, let us focus on what is environmental labeling and declaration. Environmental labeling and declaration is one of the tools of environmental management. It is one of the subjects of ISO 14000 series. ISO 14000 is the series of standards related to environmental management that exists to help organizations or businesses. It is providing information about a product or service in terms of its overall environmental character, specific environmental aspect, or any number of aspects. The environmental labeling and declaration is related to other applicable standards in the ISO 14020 series, which include ISO 14021, ISO 14024, and ISO 14025. Next, let's find out where environmental labeling and declaration fits under the environmental management framework. Under the environmental management framework, there are several other standards established. There are Environmental Management System ISO 14001/4, Environmental Performance Evaluation ISO 14030, Environmental Auditing ISO 14010, Life Cycle Assessment ISO 14040, and Design for Environment ISO 14062. Meanwhile, environmental labeling and declaration falls under labeling and marketing ISO 14020, the last standard under environmental management framework. For a product to reach labeling and marketing ISO 14020, all the other four standards that are mentioned before must be followed. Now, let's find out about environmental labeling based on the types of ISO 14020. There are three types of environmental labeling under ISO 14020, which are Type 1, ISO 14024/1999 that requires certification with criteria. Type 2, ISO 14021/1999 that requires self-declarations. And Type 3, ISO 14025/2006 that requires disclosure of quantitative information. Following this information, let's go deeper on what each of these types really means. Type 1 stated that certification of eco-label can only be obtained if the products or services are subjected to the principles and procedures stated in accordance with international standards and environmental criteria. Certification also can only be obtained through an authorized third party. Third party is a person or body that is recognized as being independent of the supplier and purchaser related to services or product. Besides that, Type 1 mentions that the participation in environmental labeling programs are entirely voluntary. The most important thing is the compliance with the environmental laws and related regulations in obtaining the certificate. Moving to Type 2, which is a self-declaration of environmental predication by the producer, importer, distributor, retailer, or anybody who benefits from the predication. This means that there is no impartial third party involved in the certification process. Self-declarations can be presented with no certification by a third party, and it has to be exact, particular, verifiable, and specific for the given environmental aspect as well as the important aspect of life cycle of the product. Meanwhile, Type 3 requires disclosure of information to convey and compare the environmental performance of products that have been classified by category and services by type. The principles and demonstrate procedures are established for extracting quantitative environmental information for products based on life cycle impact assessment data. The data presented must be based on a series of ISO 14040 standards as well as environmental information. Type 3 also focusing on meeting various needs in the supply chain and for end products in general and personal sectors, even for more general purposes in the field of marketing. After the explanation on the three types of ISO 14020s, let's find out who are benefiting from the ISO standards for environmental labels. There are four major parties that will receive the benefits. The first one is the industry or manufacturer, where ISO standards for environmental labels help businesses create their own environmental labeling that effectively and accurately describes their products in a way that instills loyalty and trust in their customers. The second one is customers, where they receive the benefit when the businesses follow the ISO standards and providing them with a clear and accurate information that they can easily compare between products or services. The third one is regulators, where they can rely on ISO standards as a solid base on which to create public policy that meets international commitments, in addition to help them establish and measure criteria for environmentally related incentive scheme. ISO standards also help regulators address the many challenges that climate change brings. And the last one is the government, where it receives benefits in the reduction of environmental pollution due to the products and services. Now, let's move on to the functions of environmental labeling. The environmental labeling will help develop one recognized label that the customers can trust, improve the image and sales of the company, which instills loyalty and trust in their customers. It will also encourage firms to account for the environmental impacts of their production and raise awareness on environmental issues and problems among consumers, as well as helps in protecting the environment. That's all for this video, and thank you for listening. Let's meet again in the next video where we will touch on the topic Ecolabel. Oops! Before that, let's recap what we have learned by answering this quiz. The first quiz is: environmental labeling and declaration is subject of the ISO 14000 series. Yes or no? The answer is yes. The second quiz is: ISO 14025-2006 is for disclosure of quantitative information. ISO 14025 is in type. Is it type 1, type 2, or type 3? The answer is type 3. You are so brilliant. Thank you for joining us. See you in the next video.
Okay, thank you for those who just joining to this conference. Okay, for the next, we continue for the second video of environmental labeling and declaration for the subject of Ecolabel.
Welcome back to the second video of environmental labeling and declaration, where we will touch on the subject of Ecolabel. The topics that will be covered in this video are the definition and criteria of Ecolabel, the benefits of Ecolabel, global ecolabelling networking, evolution of ecolabelling in Malaysia, and last but not least, serum ecolabelling and certification. Now, let's start with the definition of Ecolabel. Ecolabel are also known or referred as green label, where it contains several criteria which require an extensive information on the life cycle of a product and its impacts to the environment. Ecolabel is affixed to the products that pass eco-friendly criteria laid down by the government, association, or standard certification bodies. products that were awarded an Ecolabel have been assessed and verified by an independent third body, and they are guaranteed to meet certain environmental performance requirements. Ecolabels are usually funded and backed by the national government but are administered by an independent body. Following the definition of Ecolabel, let's find out its criteria. The first criteria are it focuses in one stage of product's life cycle, which is the use or disposal stage and a particular environmental aspect. The next one is the criteria will differ in terms of scope and stringency based on products, as different products have different life cycle. The third criteria are increasing trend, where it reflects more holistic multi-criteria and life cycle approach or assessment. The fourth one is it must follow the sequence of procedures on the standard and criteria setting, testing, monitoring, and certifying. While the last one is Ecolabel is totally voluntary, but sometimes it may be administered by government agency. Now, considering what we have known about environmental labeling and Ecolabel, it is safe to say that Ecolabel is a good approach in protecting the environment. It has many benefits, and some of them are it allows consumers to make an environmentally friendly choice without being an environmental expert, as Ecolabels provide complex information in a very straightforward way about the impacts of the product towards the environment and health. Ecolabel also favor the encounter of demand and supply of green products and services. Besides that, it can increase products' marketability, where it offers a good marketing opportunity to products that stand out from the other because of their green performance, as well as helps in boosting the product's acceptance in the international green market. Furthermore, it shows the support for innovation and encourages the diffusion of green products on the market. And more importantly, it indicates the initiative of preserving and protecting the environment. Moving forward, we will be focusing on Global Ecolabelling Network, GEN. GEN is a non-profit association of third-party environmental performance recognition, certification, and labeling organizations founded in 1994 to improve, promote, and develop the eco-labeling of products and services. Only environmentally friendly products and services proven to have lower environmental impact may carry a GEN member eco-label. There are some countries that have become a member under GEN and their eco-labels. They are Germany, China, Korea, Philippines, India, Hong Kong, European Union, North America, Canada, North America, United States of America, Brazil, Ukraine, Thailand, Singapore, Japan, and last but not least, Malaysia. Come on and let's learn more about the evolution of eco-labeling in Malaysia. Ecolabelling in Malaysia has started since 1992 with the formation of National Advisory Committee on Ecolabelling under the National Standard Infrastructure managed by SIRIM. And in 1994, the ISO from the Technical Committee on Environmental Management, ISO TC 207. This was the moment when the National Advisory Standard Committee on Ecolabelling was changed to Industry Standard Committee on Environmental Standard. 2 years later, in 1996, SIRIM QAS International launched the Environmental Management System Certification Scheme. In year 1999, it was then that the Industry Standard Committee on Environmental Standards assumed the role of the National Mirror Committee TC207 and was renamed ISCZ on Environmental Management. Moving forward to 2001, SIRIM has started research in life cycle assessment LCA, and by the year 2004, SIRIM has established SIRIM Ecolabel. Fast forward to 2010, that was the year where SIRIM applied to join GEN, and by 2011, SIRIM Ecolabel has been upgraded to National Ecolabelling Scheme. Since SIRIM QAS is responsible in giving the Ecolabel certificate to a product or services, there are several processes that must be followed. Before that, the prerequisite requirements must be complied, which are compliance to product standard, authorities, Requirements, and EQA 1974. Now, the processes to obtain the certificate start with applications, then moving on to the documentation audit, audit and sampling, testing the product or services, waiting for approval. Then, when the application is approved, surveillance is required, and lastly, the renewal. Let's move on to SHRM Ecolabelling criteria documents. There is a total of 31 documents based on its categories, but in this video, only 10 documents will be stated as example. There are package container, not specific paper, paper products or inks, personal care products, food and plants, construction or building, home appliance, home care products, lights, office supplies, not paper specific, and others which are not stated. Now, let's look at SHRM Ecolabelling certification activity flowchart. This will make you better understand on the process of acquiring the Ecolabel certificates. To apply for SHRM Ecolabel, the application must comply with all relevant authorities' requirements as stated in this flowchart. The first step is identifying relevant product for claims. This is where the organization identifies the product and review against the Ecolabel product criteria. The second step is sending the product for testing at accredited lab. This is an important step as accreditation is important in providing confidence in the credibility and competency of SHRM QAS as a provider of certification, inspection, and testing services. The next step is feasibility study on product against product standard conducted by the organization against the SHRM Ecolabelling criteria. The fourth step is submitting the application to SHRM QAS International. This is the step where request, sign, and written of application form take place, as well as the payment for the application fee. The application form must include the information of the company and details about the method of production. Moving to the fifth step, where SHRM QAS International will determine the feasibility and the submission and sign the agreement. The sixth step is product evaluation, where a SHRM QAS will verify the manufacturer application by reviewing the test result from accredited lab and conducting an on-site inspection to verify the information. The next step is report preparation, which consists of product evaluation report or test report. The eighth step is submission and approval, and the last step is the surveillance. This is where the inspection will be conducted one time every 2 years. During this inspection, product and quality system re-evaluation as required in the certification report will be carried out. In maintaining the certificate given, two types of surveillance will be conducted. There are market surveillance and factory surveillance. Market surveillance will be conducted by purchasing samples from the market and testing it to check for compliance by monitoring the compliancy with the set criteria. Whereas, factory surveillance is conducted once in 2 years by having a product audit where sampling for retesting or verification will be done and monitoring the compliancy with the set criteria. After the surveillance is done, the organization will determine whether the product comply or not comply with the set criteria. If comply, then the certificate can be renewed, but if not, the certificate will be either suspended or revoked. This is the example of Ecolabel mark and license certified by SHRM QAS. It includes the certificate number of the product, environmental claim, and SHRM criteria. Now that we all have gained a little bit of knowledge about Malaysia's Ecolabel, United Nations Office for Product Services 2009 stated that the process of certification is rather standardized in every country. In some cases, the Ecolabelling organization performs inspections, tests, or audits to verify compliance, but some other times the applicant declaration is accepted without further controls. If the product is deemed compliant with the scheme's criteria, the product is awarded the Ecolabel. The process is differences among schemes either more or less standard procedure for the award of an Ecolabel. Thus, we can say that the steps required to be certified for Ecolabel is almost similar in every countries of GEN member. That's all for this video. Thank you so much for listening, and let's see each other again in the next video. But before that, as always, let's recap what we have learned today by answering the quizzes. The first is, this Eco logo represents which country? A. Philippines, B. Singapore, C. USA. The answer is C. USA. The Cerium Eco 004 2014 in the picture represents the certificate number. True or false? The answer is false. The third one is, which one is the right Ecolabel logo of Cerium? A, B, or C? The answer is B. That's it for this video. See you next time. Thank you for enjoying this video.
Excellencies, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, for the third video of Environmental Labeling and Declaration, we will learn about Environmental Product Declaration.
Hello and welcome back to the video of Environmental Labeling and Declaration Part 3. In this video, we will learn more about Environmental Product Declaration. Environmental Product Declaration or ISO 14025 is one of the ISO 14020 series. So, before we start, let's recap some of the information about ISO 14020s. In video 1, we touched a little bit about this, where we learned that there are three types of ISO under ISO 14020s, which include ISO 14024 Environmental Labels and Declarations, Type 1 Environmental Labeling, ISO 14021 Environmental Labels and Declarations, Self-Declared Environmental Claims, Type 2 Environmental Labeling, and ISO 14025 Environmental Labels and Declarations, Type 3 Environmental Declaration. Now that we have refreshed our mind, let's dive into details about ISO 14025 Environmental Declaration, which is the focus of this video. ISO 14025 establishes principles and demonstrates procedures for extracting quantitative environmental information for products based on life cycle impact assessment data. The predetermined parameters for the data are based on ISO 14040 series of standards, which made up of ISO 14040 that contain the principles and framework of life cycle assessment LCA, and ISO 14044 that states LCA's requirements and guidelines. ISO 14025 also consists of Environmental Product Declaration (EPD) process and a verified and registered document that shows the life cycle impacts of a product. Having an EPD does not imply that the declared product is environmentally superior to alternative product, but it provides a transparent declaration for customers who need confirmation of a product's environmental impact from the start to the end. Moving on to the objective of ISO 14025, which are to provide LCA-based information and additional information on the environmental aspects of products, to assist purchasers and users to make informed comparisons between products. However, these declarations are not meant as comparative assertions. Next is to encourage improvement of environmental performance. And the last one is to provide information for assessing the environmental impacts of products over their life cycle. Now that you have known what ISO 14025 is trying to achieve, let's continue with Environmental Product Declaration (EPD) process. The process consists of 6 stages that include the development of environmental declaration programs, general programs instruction, development of product category rules (PCR), environmental product declaration draft, verification process, and publication of the environmental declaration. Come on and let's go through the stages in details. The first one is the development of environmental declaration programs. It is voluntary and have a set of rules guiding your overall administration and operation that are managed by program operator. Program operator is a body that consists of interested parties such as company, industrial sector, or independent body that defines specific program instructions and supervises the EPD process. The scope of the program should be clearly defined whether the program is limited, for example, to certain geographical area or to certain industrial sectors, products, or group of products. And it should be accessible to all organizations interested in developing a PCR or Type 3 environmental declaration. The rules that guide the overall administration and operation of the programs are referred to as general program instructions. The program operator should prepare general program instructions describing the operation of the program. Some of the information that need to be included are scope of the program, objective of the program, identification of program operator, involvement of interested party, and the procedures for the management of the data and documentation used may be based on ISO 14001-2004 or ISO 14044-2006. Other related information needed in describing the operation of the program can be found in detail in section 6.4 of ISO 14025. The next stage in the EPD process is the development of product category rules (PCR). The PCR define the product category, describe the scope of the LCA to be conducted, and identify the types of potential impacts that must be evaluated and reported. The recommended steps for the preparation of PCR document are: define product category, collect and/or produce appropriate LCA, and lastly, specify common goal and scope definition for the LCA of the product, as well as the predetermined parameters, rules of additional environmental information, requirements for reporting, and written instructions on how to produce the data required for the declaration. After the development of PCR, the environmental product declaration is drafted. ISO 14025 proposes two methodological options for Type 3 environmental declarations and programs, which are Option A or Option B. Option A focuses on life cycle impact assessment, where the results are expressed by means of environmental indicators for different impact categories, such as global warming from the emissions to the air, ozone layer depletion, soil acidification, eutrophication of water, and others depending on the LCIA method applied. While Option B focuses on life cycle inventory, the EPD results are expressed as an identification of consumption of natural resources, materials, and energy. Both of these options will then undergo the interpretation stage and move into the stage where the results from other analysis tools, which may or may not be derived from the application of the LCA methodology such as hazard and risk assessment, and lack of substances or life cycle stages, might be optionally included to provide alternative information that give a complementary perspective to a Type 3 environmental declaration. This could include, for example, relevant indicators of sustainable development such as economic or social elements. After that, the EPD will then go through the verification process. During the verification process, the program operator should establish the appropriate verification procedure to ensure the declaration complies with all general program instructions. It should also include the verification format and documentation as well as adequate access to verification rules and results. The data obtained then should independently verify either internally or externally. This verification process must be carried out by the third party in the case of Type 3 for the use in business-to-consumer communication, and when the intended audience for the Type 3 environmental declaration is a consumer. After all the previous stages are completed, then the EPD can be published. And that's the end of the environmental product declaration process. Now, we are almost at the end of the video. But instead of giving you quiz to recap what you have learned like we have done in the previous two videos, we would like to share with you a big framework that shows the example of the EPD process to help you better understand the process. This is the simplified diagram that represents the development of Type 3 environmental declaration. This shows the flow of Type 3 environmental declaration based on the full life cycle of the complete bottle, where it emphasizes on the life cycle stages which include raw material acquisition, production, use, and end of life. Life cycle of each part of the bottle, which are its glass body, aluminium cap, paper label, as well as the additional processes to complete the product, are assessed. And with that, it's a wrap for this video on the topic of environmental declaration. Thank you for staying with us, and please stay tuned for our last video. See you soon!
Excellencies, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. We continue for the last video of environmental labeling and declaration.
Hi, and welcome to the last installment video of environmental labeling and declaration, where we will mainly recap the information shared in the previous 3 videos. The contents that will be in this video are the important terms used in describing what environmental labeling and declaration is, the overall mind map showing the entirety of the topics covered from video 1 until video 3, the recommendations on how to increase the awareness and usage of green products and services, and the conclusion. Now, let's look at the important terms that will best explain the environmental labeling and declaration. The very first one is environmental labeling and declaration. It is one of the tools of environmental management, and it provides information about product or service in terms of its overall environmental character, specific environmental aspect, or any aspect. It is also subjected to ISO 14000 series, and it relates to the other applicable standards, which are ISO 14021, ISO 14024, and ISO 14025. Now, let's revise about the 3 ISOs mentioned. The first one is Type 1 ISO 14024-1999. This ISO mentioned that certification of Ecolabel can only be obtained if the products or services are subjected to the principles and procedures stated in accordance with international standards and environmental criteria, and the authorization by third party is required. The next one is Type 2 ISO 14021-1999, which stated that there is no impartial third party involved in the certification process, and it is a self-declaration certification where the environmental aspects and the important aspects of product life cycle must be put into consideration. And the last one is Type 3 ISO 14025-2006. It stated that the data of quantitative environmental information for products' life cycle impact assessment must be presented based on a series of ISO 14040 standards. It is used to share the information and environmental performance of products. For the next important terms is Global Ecolabelling Networking. It is a non-profit association of third-party environmental performance recognition, certification and labeling organizations founded in 1994 to improve, promote, and develop the eco-labeling of products and services. Only environmentally friendly products and services proven to have lower environmental impact may carry a GEN member eco-label. Next is Ecolabel. Ecolabel are also referred as green label. It contains several criteria which require an extensive information on the life cycle of a product and its impacts to the environment. Ecolabel is affixed to the products that pass eco-friendly criteria, which has been assessed and verified by an independent third party. Moving on to SIRIM, which is an impartial third-party attestation to products or services which comply with transparent environmental performance requirements based on life cycle consideration. SIRIM is a credible way to make environmental statements as opposed to self-claim bring to public. Next one is Environmental Product Declaration (EPD). It is an independently verified and registered document that communicates transparent and comparable information about the life cycle environmental impact of products. The important terms also include development of product category rules (PCR) that define the product category, describe the scope of the life cycle assessment (LCA) to be conducted, and identify the types of potential impacts that must be evaluated and reported. The last of the important terms is Life Cycle Assessment (LCA), which is defined as the systematic analysis of the potential environmental impacts of products or services during their entire life cycle. Now, let's look at the mind map of the overall topics covered. This shows a summarized version for environmental labeling and declaration, which then further divided into the summary of the information related to Type 1 ISO 14024-1999, Type 2 ISO 14021-1999, as well as Type 3 ISO 14025-2006. Let's move on to the recommendations that will highlight the responsibilities of individual or consumers, company or manufacturers, and government or regulatory bodies. For individual or consumer, they can spend a little more time in discovering the environmental impact of product by checking the product's label. Be more conscious about environmental concerns and issues by buying products that have Ecolabel, and do not support products that do not have one. Whereas, for company or manufacturers, firms should take into account the environmental impact of their production, and they should fight to have Ecolabels for their products. This is not only beneficial for the environment, but may boost the company's reputation and or sales. And the last one is government or regulatory body, where they should establish policies and guidelines for manufacturing firms to ensure that the goods produced comply with the ISO, and mandate out relevant factories and industries to follow the environmental management scheme based on ISO 14000 within 1 year from the dates of commencement of operations. As for conclusion, environmental labeling and declaration is a subject of ISO 14000 series, which inform about product or service in terms of its overall environmental character, specific environmental aspect, or any aspect. Ecolabels and green stickers are labeling systems for consumer products that is practiced around the world. For example, Shirim, which is recognized in Malaysia as its Ecolabelling system. Ecolabels are voluntary, but green stickers are mandated by law. Specific on ISO 14025 Type 3, Environmental Product Declaration (EPD) quantifies environmental information on the life cycle of a product to enable comparisons between products fulfilling the same function. Environmental labeling and declaration has developed throughout many proper stages with certified organizations to ensure its credibility of environmental claim during life cycle of one product or service. Hence, it is globally important for sustainable production and consumption, which aims to reduce the negative impact on the environment, health, climate, and natural resources, and encouraging corporate social responsibility and sustainable lifestyles. And that's the end of our installment videos on environmental labeling and declaration. Thank you for sticking with us until the last one. We hope you gain some new knowledge and can now be more aware in buying any products or using any services. We would like to end our video with some very impactful quotes. Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel and follow us on Twitter and Instagram. We provide many informations about life cycle thinking and environmental management by sharing a lot of related videos and infographics. That's all from us. Thank you for your time, and until we meet again. Bye.
Thank you for those who just joined to this conference of environmental labeling and declaration. We have increment number of participants. I would like to extend very warm welcome to all of you. We appreciate your taking time off your busy schedules to join us today. We hope you will learn a lot today. As had been mentioned in the video that environmental labeling and declaration had considered of life cycle assessment of product, so let's move to the sum of the example of the life cycle assessment of product. First video is life cycle assessment of paper cup, which is produced by Nur Ain Nazuha binti Romlan.
Hello everyone, welcome back to our channel. Today, this video we discuss on a topic about life cycle assessment of paper cup. To be more specific, today's topic we cover the background of paper cup, life cycle assessment of paper cup, impacts of producing paper cup, and the last one is conclusion and recommendation. Let's move to our first topic. Paper cup is a disposable cup made up of paper that lined with a bit of plastic or wax to prevent the liquid from leaking out or soaking out through the paper. It is suitable for a wide range of cool and hot drinks. These paper cups are widely used in different venues such as in office, events, and fast food restaurants. It was widely used around the world, and its popularity and demand has increased at a faster pace. For examples, based on Fortinis 2020, over 50 billion and 10 billion paper cups are consumed annually in the USA and China. This is the evolution of paper cup. The paper cup began in 1997 when a Boston lion named Lawrence develops the Hep cup. And today, in 2020, millions of paper cups are sold daily and become a necessity in today's busy world. So, what is the life cycle assessment that I had been mentioned before? Life cycle assessment is a method for calculating the environmental impact of a product or service that uses the basis calculation. The basis calculation, also called as a functional unit. The analysis is done over the entire life cycle of the product or services and considered environmental performance in all stages. The 5 stages are raw materials, manufacture, distribution, use, and end of life. This is the summary of the life cycle assessment of a paper cup. The main raw materials needed are the wood and polyethylene. Let's move to the manufacturing stages. The manufacturing begins with the processing of wood chips to pulp. Second, the pulp is processed and turned into a paper through paper machine. Third, the fresh paper fed through a converter machine and cut into pieces of paperboard. Fourth, is coated with a thin layer of ADPE. Fifth, paper cup will be fed into a machine and print the logo on the non-coated side of the paper using the water-based ink. Lastly, the machine rolls the flag into a cylinder to become a paper cup. Then, the paper cup is produced. The extraction Production and manufacturing product had incurred some input to produce a paper cup and degrade the environment. This is the raw materials extraction and manufacture input. And this is the raw material extraction and manufacture emission amount. However, the calculation is based on 20.7 kg of a paper cup that had been used 3 times per day over 230 working days. After the manufacturing stages, the product will be distributed either using a truck or other vehicles. Then, the paper cup located in the store. If there any people wants to buy a coffee, the paper cup is used to pack the coffee. Then, it considered as the consumer stages or use stages. Since the paper cup is a single use, the paper cup will go through recycling with beverage carton paste, incineration, or end up with landfills. However, the recycling of the paper cup is not being implemented widely due to the inefficient monetary parts and lack of machine to separate the line of plastic and paperboard. So, what is the impact of the life cycle towards the environment of the paper cup? The impacts towards environment, which are climate change, ozone depletion, human toxicity, photochemical oxidant, particulate matter, ionizing radiation, terrestrial acidification, eutrophication, ecotoxicity, water, and fossil depletion. All the waste are contributing to the environmental degradation quality excluded from the use phase. The potential of the paper cup to be recycled is very low due to the unprofitable of the process. Also, lack of equipment to separate the polyethylene lining from the paper base. Thus, it would go to the incineration as energy recovery or end up into the landfill. Here is some recommendation to reduce the impact, which are a strategy to decrease both energy and water. It can be done by recycling or reuse water as much as possible. Therefore, less water goes to the water treatment and less energy is needed. As we know that pulp and paper mill requires an extremely high energy and water demand. Next is change the materials used into more sustainable production. The methods are using sugarcane to replace the extraction of the woods from the forest, or change from the polyethylene lining to polylactic lining. Then, reduce the amount of exported and imported of raw materials or final product. And lastly, switch from the disposable paper cup into multiple-use products such as a ceramic cup. We have reached at the end of the videos. This is some reference used in this study, and thank you for lending your eyes and ears. Before that, do type life cycle thinking and environmental management on YouTube, Twitter, and Instagram. Do like, share, comment, subscribe, and follow. That's all for today. Bye!
Second video is life cycle assessment of paper towel by
Welcome to this
Nia
video.
Akila binti Bahari.
Hi and welcome to this video where we will learn about the life cycle of paper towels. Did you know that the first paper towel was invented in the year 1910 by Arthur Scott from a bunch of rejected toilet paper? Mr. Scott perforated the toilet papers in small town-sized sheets and sold them. These towel-sized sheets became the first ever disposable paper towels. And from then on, the paper towels evolved to become the paper towels that we've known today, with various types for different uses. There are several types of paper towels such as lint-free paper towel, multifold paper towel, recycled paper towel, kitchen paper towel, organic paper towel, soft paper towel, gas bathroom paper towel, absorbent paper towel, and paper towel for windows and windshield. Paper towels in general can be used for many things such as removing crayon and wax marks, acting as an emergency coffee filter, keeping the vegetables fresh when they are placed in the fridge, cleaning the microwave, and absorbing grease and gum. Paper towels are so widely and commonly used due to its convenience and comfort that they lend to their uses as they can be used for basic cleaning of any and everything, which then leading to the rise of global spending on paper towels for use at home to about $12 billion in 2017. Now that we have known in general what paper towel is and their uses, let's find out about paper towel's life cycle. The first stage of paper towel's life cycle is raw material extraction. The wood chips and forest residues for pulp production for the paper towels come from multiple sources and co-product generation processes, such as lumber, mill scrap, and on-site chipping. The raw materials are then transported by heavy-duty tractor trailer from harvest location to pulp mill. Then, the pulp is made in mills via a thermochemical process from wood chips. Wood residues from debarking and chipping are assumed to be collected for use as fuel for pulp production, and allocation was performed on a mass basis for these processes. Pulp mills commonly acquire a large fraction of their non-electricity energy needs from combustion of biomass fuels like wood chips and recovered fuels like black liquor that are of biogenic origin. After the pulp is produced, the manufacturing and packaging stages started. The production of paper towel includes both paper making and paper converting, including embossing. After that, folding boxboard for the paper towel's core and polyethylene LLDPE for the plastic wrapper of the roll take place, and proceed to roll paper towel on cores and putting rolls in primary packaging. There is no secondary and transport packaging materials are included. The paper towel then will be distributed during distribution stage. It will be distributed by tractor-trailer truck to a mix of distribution centers, club stores, and retailers. The next stage, which is use stage, will occur when consumers purchase the paper towels, and the product is assumed to be used for common household purposes. And after that, it will be disposed of. The used paper towels cannot be recycled. Therefore, they will either get transported to the landfill or the incinerator. Now that we have understood how paper towels came to be, let's assess the life cycle impacts of paper towel. Life cycle impact assessment (LCIA) is a method used to clarify the intensity of the life cycle inventory results with respect to their environmental effects such as climate change, human health, and biodiversity. The LCIA is also used to conduct a comprehensive evaluation by integrating the environmental effects. The first impact of paper towels production is fossil fuel depletion. It is the largest potential indicator of environmental impact across the full paper towel's life cycle. Based on the contribution analysis for fossil fuel depletion, during the raw material extraction, pulp production contributes 49% for fossil fuel depletion, while facility electricity and fuels are the next leading contributors following pulp production. Energy requirements at the plants are high and draw from fuels and electricity grids that are predominantly fossil-based. It doesn't help the matter when the residues from debarking and shipping require fossil fuels for their harvesting and processing, hence further increasing the dependency of fossil fuel. Meanwhile, during the distribution stage, the distribution of paper towel to the centers, club store, and retailers requires long-distance trucking. This activity contributes approximately 6% to fossil fuel depletion. The second impact is emission. Pulp production or raw material extraction process contributed the greatest share to GHG emissions, but however, results in significant reductions due to carbon sequestration during pre-production. The net global warming potential for pulp is slightly negative, negative 0.15 to negative 0.25 kilograms carbon dioxide per equivalent, as the sequestration slightly outweighs the emissions from the supply chains. The facility electricity is the next most contributing life cycle stage, dominated by electricity from coal, while production line and disposal emissions are as the third contributor. And during the end of life stage, the paper towel is assumed to degrade anaerobically in landfills, contributing to some landfill methane emissions. Moving to the third impact, which is particulate matter, based on health effects indicator, there are presence of sulfur dioxide and particulate emissions less than 2.5 mm related to pulp production and electricity purchase for the manufacturing. This is mostly due to the portion of both facilities' electricity came from coal and biomass, which contributes most to respiratory effects. And the last impacts that occur during the life cycle of paper towel is water consumption. This is mostly due to the fact that production line requires more water compared to all other life cycle stages, with a total of 47%, followed by pulp with 29% and electricity, which is 24%. After understanding the impacts of paper towel's life cycle, let's find out how the impacts can be reduced. The first one is less dependency on coal power or through otherwise acquiring more electricity from less fossil fuel intensive sources. Reductions in the dependency of grid electricity will reduce impacts in fossil fuel depletion, respiratory effects, and global warming potential. Next is fossil fuel energy use information along with global climate change estimates. This could be used to encourage pulp suppliers to continue to reduce their energy use and greenhouse gas emissions during production. Other than that, the producers have to stay diligent in their commitment to sustainable sourcing so that expanding the land area needed to support energy needs at the facilities will not impair forest values and services. The fourth one is to include the potential of carbon sequestration as criteria for product design, because pulp production processes could deliver the most significant reductions in climate change indicator along with fuel purchasing of biomass for energy. In reducing water consumption, continuous improvement programs designed to use less water and recycle more can yield life cycle benefits provided that burden shifting is avoided. Besides that, water reduction or recycling strategies at the pulp and paper making facilities would make the most meaningful improvement to this indicator. That's all on the life cycle of paper towels. Now we know that every product has their own impact towards the environment, either big or small, or how important LCA is to help us make a wise judgment in choosing environmentally sound products. This is the list of references for all the information contained in this video. Thank you for watching. I hope you gain something from this video. Bye bye. Come on and subscribe to our YouTube channel, like our Facebook page, and follow us on Twitter.
For the next video is by Nisa Aliyah binti Muhammad Hassan talk about life cycle assessment of lipstick.
Hello, welcome to the lipstick life cycle video. Before I start explain about the life cycle, let's take a look for a lipstick introduction. Did you know, in 1800s, lipstick and makeup were prohibited among upper-class social circles because they see a lipstick user as a fallen woman or cheap. However, during 1923, James Mason Jr. has patented the first fly-up lipstick until it boomed the makeup industry. Have you ever think why women need the lipstick? It is because 84% women feel very confident, powerful, and comfortable after applying lipstick. It unleashes someone feminist that positive energy is felt by all who they encounter. Besides that, 70% of female users like to apply a light to medium makeup including lipstick. It will make them look and feel younger. Also, 38% of cosmetic and lipstick products are used every day among women aged 20 until 30. Without any further, let's move to the lipstick life cycle assessment. Normally, a product life cycle consists of 5 or 6 phases. It starts with a raw material, manufacture, package, distribution of the product, consumer use, and finally, the end life of the product. So, let's go deeper into each phase. A production of lipstick starts with preparing the raw material such as water, oil or wax, powder, color, and different types of chemicals. The lipstick manufacturing phase starts with heat the raw material before filter it. Second, mix the liquid mixture with color, oil and wax before combine with powder. Next, move to the roller machine to smooth the mixture. After that, pour the mixture into the molds and container to shape the lipsticks. More wax will be added to fix the shape. The final product will be tested before next phase. Third phase is package. The lipstick use aluminium, glass, paper, and paperboard, wood, and plastic Plastic is widely commercial due to low cost compared to the other materials. If there is no problem with the lipstick, it is ready to distribute to the consumer and buyer. Truck is the main transportation to deliver all the lipsticks. Distribution distance and route, load utilization and frequency of delivery need to be considered during this phase. Next is consumer use phase. The production of lipstick need to ensure it has functional benefits, product safety, and quality social benefits. The final stage is the end of life of the lipstick. It has three options, which is post-consumer, where consumer can return the primary packaging of the products previously purchased to receive a free new lipstick. For example, the lipstick brand MAC will start a program called Back to MAC, which calls on the consumer to return the primary packaging of the product previously purchased. By returning the stick package, customers receive a free lipstick of their own choice. Next is recycle. The inner packaging will reutilization, recycling, incinerating with energy recovery, or composting, especially if it is made up from biodegradable material. And third, dispose the lipstick at landfill. Generally, lipstick can last for 1 until 2 years, or if the texture is already changed. Lipstick that are more used, there is waste of nearly 1/3 of the product due to the inner package. Did you know lipstick production may lead to the negative impact to the environment? So, we move to the life cycle impact assessment. We start with the environmental impact from lipstick production. During raw material extraction, it has been recorded more than 100 tons of candela wax every month were exported by refineries and distributors from Mexico. Besides that, there were 22,400 tons of carnival wax were produced by Brazil in 2006. Both wax are mainly used as a raw material to produce a lipstick. Wax, also known as a lipid that extract from plant and animal. Lipids help to measure the lips and wax help to rigid the shape of lipstick. Meanwhile, 20 million kilograms of hexane per year released into the atmosphere. It made up from hydrocarbon mixture. One of the pollutants contribute to smoke and greenhouse gases. Hexane is a solvent during extract the raw material or lipid extraction. 42% of energy consumption from manufacturing plant and distribution. There were 165,000 of carbon footprint of the product formula from one of the largest cosmetics manufacturer in Europe. The greenhouse gases will emit from the truck or transportation during distribution phase. Let's move to the environmental impact from lipstick consumption. 1 billion lipstick casings are discarded each year and ending up in landfill. If they made of plastic, they will take in excess 400 until 500 years for degradation process. The earth deserves to be happy. But how can we reduce the environmental impact? We start with raw material. Use biodegradable raw materials. Avoid and ban harmful chemicals to the environment. Second, manufacturing phase. Use the renewable energy, for example biomass, solar thermal systems, and electrification. Apply the innovative building design such as green roof and use the materials that are non-toxic, ethical, and sustainable. Third, package phase. Use biodegradable packaging instead of plastic packaging to fasten the decomposition process in landfill that will reduce and shorten the greenhouse gases. Also, use recyclable and usable packaging to encourage consumer practice the environmental action. Fourth, distribution phase. Shift the transportation from road to rail, from air to sea. Introduce hybrid or electric vehicles and use large container trucks to reduce unnecessary trip. 5. During consumer use, they need to practice energy consumption. Reduce automobile usage when buying the lipstick. Finally, 6. At the end of life, reuse and recycle the lipstick casing. Consumer can return empty packaging to the company to reduce the safety of empty lipstick at the landfill. Lipstick make your life more colorful. But how about the Earth? Lipstick cycle without considering the environmental decision will make the Earth turn to pale and sick. Hence, life cycle thinking is essential for both lipstick production and consumption towards sustainability. Beauty is not just about yourself. Beauty is how you treat the environment. That's all for sharing session of lipstick life cycle. Thank you for watching. I hope we can gain something from it. Before we end our video, please subscribe our channel for more videos and follow our Twitter and Instagram. Bye!
Then, this video is talk about life cycle assessment of LED light by Sarah Adibah binti Syamsuddin.
Hello everyone, today we will learn about life cycle assessment of LED light. What is LED light? LED stands for light emitting diode. LED lighting products produce light up to 90% more efficiently than incandescent light bulbs. How do they work? An electrical current passes through a microchip which eliminates the tiny light sources we call LEDs, and the result is visible light. To prevent performance issue, the heat LEDs produced is absorbed into a heat sink. Benefit of LED light. The first one is the temperature. LEDs put off 20 to 50% less heat than incandescent, fluorescent and halogen bulbs. Next is the size. LEDs come in a variety of shapes and size, but are universally smaller than 1 square inch. It has a long lifetime. LEDs can last 8 times longer than compact fluorescent and 50 times than incandescent. It has low maintenance. Due to their long lifetime, LEDs are ideal for outdoor and commercial lighting application. It also is environmental safety. LED light do not contain arsenic, lead, mercury and other harmful gases. UV free. UV emissions are said to be harmful to the health after prolonged exposure. And its efficiency. LED light use 30 to 75% less power than traditional light sources. As a conclusion, LED light is the most cost and energy efficient. Let's move to life cycle assessment of LED light. The first stage is raw material extraction, which is LED package contain aluminium, gallium, nitrides and phosphates, indium, copper, antimony, phosphorus and also arsenic. As the housing contain glass, silicon, tin-plated steel, porcelain, rubber and fiberglass. Moving to the second stage, which is processing and manufacturing. LED package that contains semiconductor chip, cathode and phosphate plate, and also bulk materials that make housing and all other aspects of LED light. Semiconductor chip is the integral component of LED light. It is manufactured in 3-step process where semiconductor material is grown onto a substrate in MOVCD reactor. The first step is substrate production, the second step is LED die fabrication, and the last step is packaged LED assembly. Do you know that LED chip was fabricated in Germany front end and Malaysia back end, and the final production of LED lamp in China? Next, the third stage of LED light LCA is distribution and transportation. Transport of lamp from China to the US by sea, and then a further 1,000 kilometers distribution within the US. The transportation phase of life cycle representing less than 1% of the total embodied energy. one of the leading LED light manufacturers is in Eindhoven and the Netherlands by Philips Lighting or Signify, which are founded in 1891. The fourth stage of LCA is use or consumption. LED light energy consumption approximately 3,900 mJ per 20 million lumen hours, while incandescent light approximately 4 times more energy. The energy consumed by the lamp over its lifetime, specifically 12.5 watts times 25,000 hours. The final stage of LCE is the end of life. LED light is categorized as hazardous waste in European Union. LED light will end at hazardous or non-hazardous waste incineration, or hazardous or non-hazardous waste landfill, or uncontrolled landfill, or formal recycling or informal recycling. Probable end-of-life scenarios for LED products used in household are landfill disposal and incineration with household waste by Skollen and Dilton 2012. Through all the benefits of LED light, it still gives many negative impacts to our environment and also the living things in the earth. The first impact is light pollution, and the second is hazardous waste. LED light also provoke the retinal damage and worsen the biological impact of humans and wildlife. LED light will cause light pollution. Light pollution is connected with excessive and misdirect street lighting on a global level. It is suspected to disrupt the ecosystem and lead to adverse health impacts. A research has investigated that the sky brightness arising from street lights depending on the color, temperature, and the same luminous flux. Next, the undeniable facts is LED light will end as hazardous waste at the end of life stage, where the large aluminum heatsink cause the impacts to be slightly greater for the LED lamp than for the CFL. Hazardous with the excessive contents of copper, iron, aluminum, which is heat sink, antimony as a LED chip, gold as a LED wire, phosphorus, silver, and zinc compared to those elements in an incandescent lamp. LED light also provoke retinal damage. An article published in Neuroscience compared in a very controlled manner the effects of different light sources. It was found that white, blue, and green LEDs provoke retinal damage, while CFL and FL lamps do not. The authors highlight once more the toxicity of blue light, in particular of the blue LEDs. Last but not least, LED light will give impacts on humans and wildlife. There is evidence that increasing blue content of light can worsen the biological impact on humans and wildlife. The eye has non-visual receptors for blue light, which controls the diurnal cycles, that is the sleep and wake rhythm. The impact of LED lamps on the circadian rhythms is 5 times greater than on conventional street lamps. The negative impacts on bugs, bats, birds, and sea turtles are emphasized. As a conclusion, the life cycle assessment study showed that LED lamps have most likely the best environmental performance for indoor and outdoor spotlight applications. The approach to solve the problems of glaring and blue light exposure could be a combination of blue and red emitting LEDs combined with a new color converter technology and frost or opalescent lamp covers. It is recommended that in case of large lighting project, new measurements of particular situations should be conducted, considering the technological state of the market, the light pollution, and a consultation of the affected user, hereby referring to light impression, glaring, and color temperature. To clarify the differences, it is recommended to refine life cycle inventory data and to conduct comparative life cycle assessment of the same lamp technologies. This is the reference that been used in this video. Don't forget to subscribe, like and comment our YouTube, follow, favorite and retweet our Twitter, and follow, like, comment our Instagram account. Thank you for watching this video. See you next time.
Excellencies, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. For your information, ladies and gentlemen, need to stay until end of this conference for getting the e-certificate for attending this conference. And please, I hope all of you can answering a survey form. The link will be given in the chat box from time to time. Thank you. We continue for the next video of life cycle assessment of sunflower oil by Sharifah Nur Aryani binti Said Ibrahim.
Hi everyone, welcome to this informative video. In this video, you will learn more and deeply about the life cycle of sunflower oil. Before we go further with that, we need to begin with the life cycle thinking LCT framework. So let's start. What is life cycle thinking LCT? LCT aims to recognize potential improvement to goods and services in the form of lower environmental impacts and minimize resource usage across all stages of the life cycle. LCT is important to understand and avoid unintended burden shifting, whether between different types of impacts, different supply chain stages, or different stakeholders that can occur as a result of our management decisions. There are 5 main stages for this framework. The first stage is raw material extraction. The second stage is manufacturing. The third stage is distribution. The fourth stage is usage. And the fifth stage is end of life. Let's explore more the life cycle of sunflower oil. What is sunflower oil? Sunflower oil, or the scientific name Helianthus annuus, is a non-volatile oil which is derived from the seeds of sunflower. This non-volatile oil is a triglyceride that consists predominantly of palmitic acid, stearic acid, oleic acid, and linoleic acid. The history of sunflower oil begins when sunflower appeared while Peter the Great was reigning. History of oil started in 1829 when Bolcaro DC entered mass production. He found that seed contained lots of oily matter and he became the first who began pressing of useful product. The first oil mill was created in the Alekseyevka village in 1833. Let's proceed with the nutrition facts of sunflower oil. 100 grams of sunflower oil has 881 kilocalories or 3,683 kilojoules, together with 11.6 grams of saturated fat, 21.5 grams of monounsaturated fat, and 62.8 grams of polyunsaturated fat. There are 4 phases of sunflower oil production. In 2019-20, the global production volume of sunflower oil worldwide amounted to 21.2 million metric tons. In 2014, Malaysia was 73 in the production of sunflower oil, reaching 783 metric tons. In 2014, Indonesia's production of sunflower oil grew 19.7% from a year earlier. Ukraine was ranked number 1 in sunflower oil production in 2014, totaling 4,400,324 metric tons. Let's find out the major producer countries of sunflower oil in 2019 and 2020. Ukraine produced the highest amount of sunflower oil, which is 16.5 million metric tons or 30%. Meanwhile, other countries besides Russia, European Union, Argentina, and Turkey produce sunflower oil with a total amount of 8.5 million metric tons or 15.5%. Without further ado, let's proceed with the life cycle assessment LCA of sunflower oil. The life cycle of sunflower oil starts with the stage of raw material extraction, followed by manufacturing, distribution, usage, and the fifth stage is end of life. At the stage of raw material extraction, the production of sunflower oil starts with sunflower cultivation on crops. The inputs are fertilizers, water, fuel, sunflower seeds, and pesticides. And then, sunflower seeds are transported to the factory by truck for manufacturing processes. The infrastructures include facilities, machines, and vehicles, and the input is fuel. The second stage is manufacturing. A volatile hydrocarbon, which is hexane, is used as a solvent to extract the oil. The manufacturing processes involved are seeds cleaning, seeds grinding, pressing and extraction of crude oil from seeds, refining the oil obtained, and packaging. The inputs are sunflower seeds, hexane, and electricity. The next stage is distribution. The co-products are distributed to the supermarkets and other stores by lorry. The co-products are sunflower oil and sunflower meals, while the inputs are fuel and energy. The fourth stage is usage. Sunflower oils are used as cooking oil and suitable for any kind of foods. Sunflower oils are also used as beauty products. Meanwhile, sunflower meals are used as livestock feeding. The fifth and the last stage is end of life. There are three methods for this stage. The first is sunflower oil may be recycled into biofuels. The second is reuse the sunflower oil that is still good for cooking. And the third is place the cool oil in container and throw it in the trash bin. There are several environmental impacts that occur throughout the life cycle of sunflower oil. Let's start with stage of raw materials extraction. The first environmental impact is climate change. At this stage, impacts of climate change are primarily driven by three main factors. The main factor is manufacturing mineral nitrogen fertilizer accounts for 27% until 37% of greenhouse gases emissions. The second factor is dinitrogen monoxide emissions when spreading nitrogen fertilizers, which account for 44% until 54% of total greenhouse gases emissions. The third factor is mechanization, like fuel consumption by farm machinery, also accounts for a significant share, 9% until 19% of total greenhouse gases emissions. The second environmental impact is soil acidification. Water consumption is primarily impacted by crop field irrigation, fertilizer production like P2O5, and seed drying that lead to soil acidification. The environmental impact of climate change is also occur at the stage of manufacturing. The crushing and refining stages account for the vast majority of greenhouse gases emissions generated, bottling accounting for just 5% to 6%. These greenhouse gases emissions are primarily driven by pressurized steam generation and electricity consumption. For the stage of distribution, the distribution of the packaged sunflower oil is transported by truck, which account for 48% of greenhouse gases emissions. As a result, for the production of sunflower oil, 100 grams of refined sunflower account for 89 grams of equivalent carbon dioxide and 1.7 liters of water. As a conclusion, life cycle thinking LCT can help businesses, policymakers, and consumers to do better decision making. For businesses, LCT can assist to identify possibilities and lead to decisions that can enhance the environmental performance, image, and economic benefits. For policymakers, LCT is increasingly fundamental in the development of environmental policies around the world. And for consumers, LCT helps consumers make better choices through effective labeling. Last but not least, there are several solutions of reducing environmental impacts of the life cycle. The first solution is encourage farmers to use sustainable agricultural practices for better product yield. The next solution is limit the amount of fertilizers inputs for cultivation such as nitrogen fertilizers. And the third solution is practice irrigation on farm, field or crop to reduce the water consumption. That's all for this video. Thank you so much for watching this video. Hope that this video can help you understand better the life cycle of sunflower oil. Don't forget to like, subscribe, give comment and share this video. See you soon.
For the next video is about life cycle assessment of glass bottle made by Nur Shakira binti Karim.
Hello everyone, welcome to my video. Today I would like to share about life cycle assessment of glass bottle. The topic that will be covered in this video are: what is glass bottle, why choose glass bottle, benefit using glass bottle, life cycle of glass bottle, and last but not least, impact of glass bottle. Now, let's start with what is glass bottle. Glass bottle is bottle that made from glass. There are many sizes, but are most commonly found in size between 200 milliliters and 1.5 liter. At the United States now produce more than 40 billion glass bottles. Glass can perfectly preserve food without affecting taste, and glass can be recycled over and over again without harming its quality. Following the definition of glass bottle, let's find out why we choose glass bottle. The first one are glass bottle came from natural. No other materials or chemical layers are required to complete the process. The next one is glass bottle can be reused. The reuse of glass bottle decrease the cumulative cost and also raising the sustainable value of glass. Next, glass bottle is ideal for consumer health. There is no chance that harmful chemical will get into food or drinking packaging in glass. No additional barriers are needed. The glass bottle is 100% pure glass, while the last one is glass bottle is 100% recyclable and infinity, without any loss of consistency. Glass recycle is closed loop method that does not produce any extra waste or buying product. Now, considering what we have known about glass bottle is safe to say that glass bottle is a good approach in protecting the environment. It has many benefits and some of them are environmental friendly. Second benefit are hold a steady temperature. Hot or cool glass bottle keep liquid at a constant temperature more efficiently than plastic bottle. Glass may be used with liquid other than water without consuming flavor, smell or color. Next, free from contaminated. Almost all of us had the uncomfortable of taking a drink from a plastic or metal bottle. However, the presence of toxic chemicals such as BPA can be hazardous to human consumption. Glass containers will not release chemical. They absorb the residual smell or taste of other drink. While the last one are easy to clean. Glass bottles are easy to keep clean and will not lose the clarity by being washed. Next, we move forward to the life cycle of bottle. Life cycle of bottle involving in 5 stages. Here are the details. The first stage for glass bottle is raw material extraction. Main raw material used made from the glass. There are also used silica, soda ash, limestone and other barrels. They mix into a particular mixture depending on the design properties of the container. Second stage are manufacturing. Process, press and blow is the common method used in the manufacture of glass. It uses an individual section which is IS machine, and it also divided into different parts to generate multiple containers of the same size. Third stage are distribution and transportation. The distribution of glass bottle came from industrial factories to consumer, and for the transportation, it usually involves road transport. For the fourth stage are used for the glass bottle. In this stage, all consumers are use the glass bottle. This glass bottle can be used anytime and anywhere, and it also can be pour hot or cold water on it. And the last stage are end of life, which is reuse and recycle. In this stage, glass bottle can be washed and reused it again, and it also can be recycled at a glass bank. Next, we go to the impact of glass bottle. There are 4 impacts of glass bottle. The first impact are combustion of natural gas. The combustion of natural gas and the decomposition of raw materials during the melting lead to the emission of carbon dioxide. This is the only greenhouse gas during the production of glass. Second impact are sulfur dioxide. Sulfur dioxide from fuel or sulfur decomposition in batch materials can lead to acidification. Third impact are nitrogen oxide. Nitrogen oxide due to high melting temperature. The decomposition of nitrogen compound in the batch material often contribute to the acidifications and formation of smoke. The last impact are evaporation. Evaporation from molten glass and raw materials can cause the release of particles into the atmosphere. Next, we go for the conclusion. Glass bottle packaging is not a modern thing. It follows the pace of industrial trend. As the graphic design technology become more advanced and the packaging size become more versatile. Glass has an almost zero rate of chemical interaction, ensuring that the product inside a glass bottle keep their strength, aroma and also flavor. When consumers choose food and drinks that are packaged in glass, they avoid potential risks while enjoying a number of benefits. Here are some references that I searched for the glass bottle. That's all for me. Thank you for watching.
For the next video is talk about life cycle assessment of wooden table by Masrizan bin Muriden.
Welcome to the video life cycle assessment of wooden table. To the introduction, what is wood? Wood is that it does grow on trees, or more specifically in their trunk and branches. What is table? Table is an item of furniture with a flat top and one or more legs used as a surface for working at, eating from, or on which to place things. The history. In the 17th century, the first desks were introduced to the world, which was known as bureaus. Like a solid oak desk, once the UK was struck by Industrial Revolution in the 19th century, newer and modified forms of desks started emerging. The Malaysian furniture industry, with its distinctive, humble beginnings, gained prominence in the mid-1980s. Type of wood. Hardwood, for example, ash, beech, birch, mahogany, maple, oak, teak, and walnut. Softwoods, for example, the cedar, cypress, fir, pine, spruce, and redwoods. Type of table. Dining room, the side table, gathering table, coffee table, refectory table, drafting table, workbenches, nested table. The statistics show 35.9% export of timber by wooden furniture in 2017 in Malaysia. 24.7% import of timber by wooden furniture in 2017 in Malaysia. Life cycle of wooden table. Raw material. Step 1. Tree harvested from a sustainable forest. This is mechanization has led to the development of equipment capable of cutting down hundreds of trees in a day. Manufacturing. Step 2. The raw down board are transferred to a sawmill and are broken down into boards. Every effort made to reduce waste. Sawdust produced during the process is used in the manufacture of chipboard and MDF. Step 3. Woodwork season, removing excessive water. This is a process whereby a large proportion of the water content is removed. If the process called as seasoning is used, it can take a month. Step 4. Manufacture. The seasoned boards are used by manufacturers and furniture makers to construct products. Distribution. Step 5. Distribution at market with the lorry or another transport. And then use. Step 6. Using the wooden table, the finishing of the product, and end of life a product is step 7. Recycle for conversion to chipboard. This is type of material can be processed and recycled into man-made boards and finally used as fuel. This is natural is completely worn out. It will become fuel for a wood burner providing heat. Life cycle impact assessment of wooden table. Number 1. The energy resource consumption, for example, fossil fuel for transport, electricity for machine cutter. Number 2. The global warming, for example, carbon dioxide at 78%, methane 11%, and PM 2.5 is 17%, and also the ozone depletion. Number 3. It is the solid waste. Solid waste comprises various residues from the raw material provision, manufacturing, usage, and product retirement phase. Number 4. It is the land use effect. For example, forest damage, erosion, soil. And lastly, it is the human health criteria. For example, immune system suppression, cataract, and cancer. The impact categories might be affected from energy use and local electricity mix, for example, terrestrial acidification and ozone depletion, also climate change. The recommendation to mitigate the environmental impacts. Number 1. The optimization of resource and recovery of food scraps. the minimization of energy consumption, proper use of chemicals, facility of dismantling and packaging reductions. Number 2, eco-design strategy are crucial to reduce the inherent environmental burdens associated with a product. And lastly, using solar energy in manufacturing to supply energy for processing. Conclusion, it is the LCA is very important to any production of product to analysis and evaluation the impact to environment. Besides that, the LCA can reduce the adverse impact such as climate change, health problem and waste energy. Thank you for watching.
Excellencies, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, I would like to promote life cycle thinking and environmental management of YouTube, Twitter, and Instagram. You all can subscribe, like, share, and comment to our video. We already reached at the end of the conference, but before we proceed to the next video, we would like to have a break for 5 minutes.
I'm going under, and this time I feel there's no one to save me. This all or nothing really got a way of driving me crazy. I need somebody to heal, somebody to love, somebody to have, somebody to hold. It's easy to say, but it's never the same. I guess I kinda like the way you numbed all the pain. Now the day It's all or nothing way of loving, got me sleeping without you. I need somebody to know, somebody to heal, somebody to have, just to know how it feels. It's easy to say, but it's never the same. I guess I kinda like the way you helped me escape. Now the day bleeds into nightfall, and you're not here to get me through it all. I let my guard down, then you pulled the rug. I was getting kinda used to being someone you loved. And I tend to close my eyes when it hurts. Sometimes I fall into your arms. I'll be safe in your sound till I come back around. For now the day bleeds into nightfall, and you're not here to get me through it all. I let my guard down, and then you pulled the rug. I was getting kinda used to being someone you love, but now the day bleeds into nightfall, and you're not here to get me through it all. I let my guard down, then you pulled the rug. I was getting kinda used to being someone you loved. I let my guard down, then you pulled the rug. I was getting kinda used to being someone you loved. Heart beats fast, colors and promises. How to be brave? How can I love when I'm afraid to fall? But watching you stand alone, all of my doubt suddenly goes away somehow. One step closer. I have died every day waiting for you. Darling, don't be afraid. I have loved you for 1,000 years. I'll love you for 1,000 more. Time stands still, beauty in all she is. I will be brave, I will not let anything take away what's standing in front of me. Every breath, every hour has come to this. One step closer. I have died every day waiting for you. Darling, don't be afraid. I have loved you for 1,000 years. I love you for 1,000 more. And all along I believed I would find you. Time has brought your heart to me. I have loved you for 1,000 years. I love you for 1,000 more. One step closer.
Hi, welcome back guys. Our 5-minute break time have finished. Thank you for those who just joined to this conference of environmental labeling and declaration. We have I would like to extend very warm welcome to all of you. We appreciate you taking time off your busy schedules to join us today. We hope you will learn a lot today. Soft reminder to all participants, you may fill in the Google form through the link given for attendance and e-certificate. Thank you for your attention and cooperation. Stay with us until the end of this e-conference. Just inform in the chat for any inquiries. So, we continue for the next video, life cycle assessment of electronic cigarettes by Abdul Rafiq bin Mazan. Assalamualaikum and hi everyone. My name is Abdul Rafiq bin Mazan, and today I will introduce to you about life cycle assessment of electronic cigarettes. So, what is electronic cigarettes? Electronic cigarettes are devices that can deliver nicotine and flavorings to the user in the form of an aerosol. E-cigarettes have the potential to benefit some people and harm others. Scientists still have a lot to learn about whether e-cigarettes are effective in helping adults to quit smoking. Little fun fact about electronic cigarettes. Did you know vaping is less harmful than smoking? But it is still not safe. 68% of electronic cigarettes users in high school use flavor menthol, candy, fruit, and sweets. As you know, young people are more like to smoke with sweet flavor. How does it look like? Electronic cigarettes come with many various of shape and type, which is it can be in vape pen, it can be mid-size, it can be mod box, USB or jewel. There are some body parts of e-cigarettes. First, drip tip, atomizer, battery, the sensor, and the solution or flavor. So, all of these are body parts of e-cigarettes. Why are e-cigarettes dangerous? That is because e-cigarettes contain high nicotine and contain toxin. E-cigarettes heat nicotine extract from tobacco, flavoring and other chemicals to create an aerosol that you inhale. Regular tobacco cigarettes contain 7,000 chemicals, many of which are toxic. Also, e-cigarettes are dangerous because it can cause second-hand smoker, and adults may influence teenagers to smoke. So, adults is prohibited to smoke in open public place because it can harm other people around you. And the last one is obviously smoking e-cigarettes can cause you wasting money. Statistics in Malaysia. Cigarettes and e-cigarette user among students in Malaysia. As you can see, 21% of students in Malaysia are e-cigarettes user. 14% is ex-smoker and now use e-cigarettes. 19% is smoker but never use e-cigarettes. 6% are ex-smoker and never use e-cigarettes, and 40%, which is the highest reading, is both user, which is there are smoked cigarettes and electronic cigarettes. Next, where the people are most likely to see electronic cigarettes advertisement. They can see this advertisement from television, retail stores, internet, and magazine. There is because there is no limitation and restriction in media social to show what they want to show to our young generation. So that's why our young generation are exposed to this advertisement, which is electronic cigarettes. Next, the life cycle of e-cigarettes. There are 5 aspects of life cycle. First, raw material use. Second, manufacturing process. The third, transportation and distribution. The fourth, the product usage. And the fifth, the end of life of products. The first, raw material. The raw material of these electronic cigarettes is atomizer, battery, liquid nicotine, and cartridge. And the second process is manufacturing. Electronic cigarettes are simple process because the different component is manufactured or bought from third-party companies. And lastly, the assembled at the end, manually or by automatic tools. The third, distribution and transportation. They need to packaging before distribute to the retailer. Also, we as consumer can buy these electronic cigarettes from online shopping. And the fourth process is product usage. To inhale vapor through the mouth from a usually battery operated electronic device such as an electronic cigarette that heats up and vaporizes a liquid or solid. Why people choose electronic cigarettes? Because electronic cigarettes are more portable and easy to bring to everywhere. If you are looking to replace smoking cigarettes, then this is the ideal way to stop smoking. And the fifth process, the end of life of product. Electronic cigarettes no need to dispose, and all the components are repairable. Also, electronic cigarettes is not produce waste and can be recycled. Once you finish to smoke the electronic cigarettes, you don't need to dispose the e-cigarettes because you just need to replace with the new cartridge to feel like a new one. So that's why there's no need to dispose the electronic cigarettes. Impacts to our life. Electronic cigarettes can impact to our brain. Nicotine release feel-good chemical in brain, causing long-lasting chemical and addiction. Other effects include lightheadedness and dizziness. Effect to lung. Nicotine can cause rapid shallow breathing, permanent lung damage, and higher risk for lung and lung cancer. Effect to heart rate and blood pressure go up, making your heart work more harder to get blood and oxygen to cells. In long term, it can cause heart attack. To our behavior, nicotine can lead to smoke cigarettes or marijuana. It can also permanently reduce impulse control risk, cause problem with attention and thinking. Effect to our immune system. Vaping can suppress hundreds of key immune genes, harming your immune system even more than smoking. Effects to our environment. Electronic cigarettes like chewing can leak heavy metal and residual nicotine into the environment. Because of heavy metals and residual nicotine, e-cigarettes may qualify as both e-waste and biohazard waste. And little advice to you. E-cigarettes are not safe for young adults, pregnant adults, and as well as adults who do not currently use tobacco products. If you have never smoked or used other tobacco products or electronic cigarettes, don't start. Additional research Okay, that's all from me. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoy with this video. Thank you. For the last video of life cycle assessment made by Muhammad Buzran bin Muhammad Azmi, he talked about life cycle assessment of bamboo straw.
Assalamu alaikum and hello everyone. Welcome to my video. Today I would like to share about life cycle assessment about bamboo straw. Now let's start with our bamboo straw safe. Bamboo straw is non-toxic and it also free from chemicals that are harmful. Besides, it also safe for individuals, safe for the community, and when it breaks down, bamboo doesn't leave any toxic residue. Next, we go to what is bamboo straw. Bamboo straw is a straw that made by using the bamboo. Throughout the process of cutting bamboo, then gets sanded, filed, and etched to give it a smooth and natural finish. Bamboo straw gets taken away to be naturally cleaned by pressurized water. Then the straw is left to dry on large hessian rugs. Besides, bamboo is the world's fastest growing plant and can grow up to 10 centimeters a day, and, after being cut down, regrows easily, making it the #1 renewable resource. Lastly, when it comes to your well-being, bamboo straws are safer. Toxins can leak from plastic. After we know the definition of bamboo straw, let's find out why we choose bamboo straw. The first one is an eco-friendly product. It can be reused over and over again without harming its quality. The next one is natural and organic. The use of natural organic bamboo straw removes the risk for ingestion of chemicals. While the last one is by using the bamboo straw we can reduce the plastic waste at the same time. Now, given what we know about bamboo straw, it's fair to say that bamboo straw is a positive thing to protect the environment. It has many benefits and some of them are no chemicals, second reusable, and lasts at least 3 years. It also dishwasher friendly. Last but least can be used as a drinking straw for both hot and cold drinks. Next, we move forwards to care and maintenance. There is 4 steps we can follow. The first one is, we can rinse our bamboo straws after each use. Next, clean and scrub the inside with a cleaning brush. After that, Every 15 uses to clean your straws with boiling water and vinegar, and lastly rub coconut oil on your bamboo straws after a couple of months usage. Now, we go forwards to the life cycle of bamboo straw. The life cycle of bamboo straw involves 4 stages. Here are the details. For the first stage are raw materials. Any of the numerous woody or arborescent grasses, as of the subfamily Bambusoidea genera Bambusa, Arundinaria dendrocalamus, of tropical and temperate regions with hollow stems, thick rhizomes, and shoots used for food, and even the bamboo joint stem used specifically for construction, furniture, and utensils. The second stage is manufacturing, distribution and transportation. Cut the bamboo to a length of 20 centimeters. Then sand the bamboo. The bamboo straws are washed and well dried. The distribution of bamboo straw comes from industrial factories to consumers, and for transportation, it usually involved land transport and air transport. The third stage is use, reuse and recycle. Consumers use bamboo straw to drink their water. Bamboo straw can be used for hot and cold drinks. Bamboo straw also can be recycled as a plant stands. The last stage for the life cycle bamboo straw or waste management. Bamboo straw has a low carbon footprint and is compostable at home, so just dig it into your veggie patch or dump it into your compost pile when you're done. Next, we go to the impact of bamboo straw. For the positive impact are reduce of using the plastic straw that can pollute the environment. Our beaches are currently polluted by an estimated 8.3 million plastic straws. For the negative impact is it can impact to the environment because bamboo tree function as carbon sinks, produce oxygen, control soil erosion, provide organic matter, regulate water levels in watersheds, conserve biodiversity, beautify the landscape, and essentially contribute to the purification and regulation of the environment. For the conclusion, straw made from bamboo are a real alternative to plastic straw, and you will be taking a great step towards leading a more sustainable life. And straw bamboo also more economical because it can be used at any time. Lastly, straw bamboo also can give the benefit to human and the environment to get more sustainably for the earth and to reduce the pollution of the plastic straw. Here is some reference that I searched for the bamboo straw. That all from me. Thank you for leading your ears and thank you for watching.
We are already at the end of the conference. Excellencies, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for your attention in this conference. Now, we are open to the question and answer from all of the audience, if any. If you guys have a question, you can open your mic or you can chat in the box, in the chat box. Thank you. So, if there is no any question, Excellencies, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, we hope you all enjoy with this program. Please answer the survey form to get the online certificate. Stay safe, stay at home to prevent COVID-19. Don't forget to subscribe, like, share, and comment to our video. Ladies and gentlemen, need to stay tuned for the next conference with different topic. Thank you. Bye. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Thank you, guys.
Tanya korang.
Thank you, Sis.
Thank you.
Everyone good luck di sini.
Bejak.
Everyone.
Thank you semua. Thank you.
Thank you, Cora.
Thank you.
Thank you for those who joined in to this conference.
Sama lah dengan aku. Aku ni duduk kat hutan tu duduk kat mana lah. Macam-macam bunyi dia. Bunyi apa entah. Oh, thank you Nak Amira.
Thank you, Afifuddin. Hope you guys will learn today.
Thank you semua.
Wait, jom tekan left.